Hello, everybody. How are you again? And welcome back if you are returning to our channel. If you're new, well, I hope that today we can help you when it comes to healing, because this is what this video and four others are about. There are five altogether. Today we are going to be talking about grief. There are other videos that are also about stress, trauma, pain, and fear. We've done all of these because it's something that we use as a tool for ourselves, but also when it comes to our clients and helping our clients to heal. I discovered E.F.T, Emotional Freedom Technique, many, many years ago. It's called tapping as well. If you go on YouTube and put in tapping or E.F.T, you'll find all of the amazing experts there who who will explain to you all about this amazing, amazing tool of self-discovery and healing is what I call it. Tapping is about acupressure and modern psychology. That's the expression that's what they say, that's what they call it. Let's put it that way. My name's Linda, by the way. So I'm from Australia. That's why I've got this funny accent. I live in the Sunshine Coast of Queensland. So I live in a beautiful place off the planet. I'm very, very blessed. And I love to hear from you, where you're from, and if you would like to give me feedback, ask me any questions at all about EFT. Please do. I try and answer. I try and acknowledge with a little heart that I have read your message. And so I do love to hear from you, where you're from, and also if you would like to give us some feedback. If this helps you today, maybe you'd like to give us a little tip, and that would be wonderful. EFT, if you've watched any of the other healing videos that I've done, you probably would have heard a lot that I've already told you about emotions and how our emotions can actually destroy our life. And the one I'm talking to you about today, well, I'm talking to you about grief today, but when I do the fear one, that's a real biggie. But grief is also a very, very negative energy when it's a certain type of grief. There's a lot of different types of grief. And when you do this tapping with me today, I'll throw in a couple of little examples of the sort of grief that maybe you need to release, let go of. Just to give you an idea, the thing is this, darlings, you can't really say anything wrong here, because once you know the way to go about doing this, then you are safe. Tapping has nothing to do with the law of attraction, nothing at all. You can't attract anything negative into this. It's actually what it's really all about is accepting, accepting that this certain emotion exists within, and then allowing us to remove it on behalf of our system. I guess that's one way of. So, and I'll explain to you why I've said that. The karate chop. Now we're working with meridians, we're working with points, acupressure points, and we're talking to those points. When we tap on them, we talk to them. And that's why they call it psychology as well. So it's a psychological impact that takes place when we tap on certain points in our bodies. And I think it was a lady scientist that discovered the meridians. It was really amazing how, you can tap on it. It has a lot to do, of course, with acupuncture. The great art of acupuncture that goes back centuries with the Chinese culture. But the acupressure is just as powerful when the right points are tapped on the body. That's fascinating, isn't it? And so what they call the karate chop is the very first area that we tap on that wakes up the system to let it know that we're about to do some work. The karate chop is a fear of new experience. It's got a fear of experience and change. And so what we have to do is we have to convince it that it's okay. It's okay. You're safe. And we do this by talking to it 3 times. And we talk to each meridian as we go around 3 times. So 3 times. First time, okay, listen. Second time, okay. Third time, I've got it. Third time, I've got it. And that's fact. It takes 3 times, three to say similar things, or about 3 times for it to actually accept. I think that's the best word, accept. And so we're going to go through. I'd like you to come with me. Have a glass of water before you start, please, because we're using energy. You're working with me, and even though it's through this screen, you're still working with me. My energy is, is interacting with you because you're going to be working with me here. So we're going to start off with the karate chop. And please trust and have faith. Darlings, I've been doing this for a long time. I am a channel to spirit. I'm a messenger. You are ever, ever present, safe in my presence. You are safe in my presence. Please know that. Okay, there's a shield of divine light all around us, protecting us from all negative situations, people, viruses, and germs. That's the shield I put around myself every morning and every night. So that shield is around me, and so my energy is all pure for you. So please know that you're safe with me. And so let's start tapping. Do as I say, and do as I do, and please repeat what I say after me. And I'm doing this as a very basic, a very, very basic, but I'll throw in a couple of things just to give you an idea. Or some of the ways that, some of the words you can say. Because a lot of people say to me, well, I don't know what to say. And I say to them, well, you can't say anything wrong. Can't really say anything wrong. Once you realize the importance of acknowledging, which is what we first do, we acknowledge and the body accepts that. And then the second process is eliminating, releasing and letting go. And so it's not really a difficult thing. But I'll throw in a couple of things just to give you an idea of how you can, how you can word some of the points that we tap on. Because, the karate chop is all about the fear of a new experience. When it comes to the eyebrow here, the very first one we tap on, this one's all about trauma, past and present. The side of the eye is about decisions and uncertainty. This is anxiety, stress, and so on. When we come down to the nose, under the nose, this is feeling unsupported. That we just don't feel supported in life. When we're a bit too overwhelmed, it's here. Fear is here. Fear is here. Under the arm is rejection. At the armpit is rejection. So you, ladies, you're just on the edge, on your bra, the top of your bra there, just above that is where you tap, or you can just go in and go like that. And that meridian will get a reaction, guys. Then we have the top of the head here. This is where your soul resides. So this is all about assimilating. This is the process of receiving the new information that we're giving. We're giving our bodies and our mind. Okay, let's get going. The karate chop. Deep breath. Deep breath. And away we go. This is about grief. Even though I'm struggling with grief throughout my body, I deeply and completely accept myself. I am struggling, trying to cope with this grief, the grief of past and present. However, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. Grief is something I am having a lot of trouble with. I am not coping with the grief that I'm carrying. However, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. What we've just done is we've just told the body, yes, okay, you know what, we know you're grieving. We know we've got all this nasty grief there from maybe from when you were a child even. But you know what? Even though that is the case, I still love you. I love my body. I love you. And so when you love yourself, when you love your body, well, isn't that a good thing? So this is a very powerful opening statement with this meridian, okay? Because now it's ready to listen. It's ready to listen, and it knows it's loved and it's accepted and it's okay. It's okay to experience, right? Change is on the way. Now we go around and we say, all of this grief that I'm coping with, all of this grief in my body, all of this terrible grief that's making it difficult for me, under the eye, all of this grief, just tap gently all around the eye socket there, all the grief in my body, all of this grief, all of this grief, all of this grief in my body. It's causing me to be overwhelmed. It's causing me not to be able to cope in life, all this grief. All of this grief in my body. And at times this grief is causing fear, which is holding me back. All of this grief. All of this grief I'm having trouble coping with. All of the grief in my body. All of this terrible grief. The grief of losing a loved one. The grief of losing my pet. And you can name your pet. All the grief of losing my beautiful pet. Bobby or whatever your pet is, all this grief I'm going through losing my beautiful little pet. And, you say these things so you can bring it up. All this grief of losing, all this grief that's making me fearful, all this grief in my body, all this grief, all of this grief for my lost love, all of this grief I'm experiencing now for this relationship that I've lost. All of this terrible grief that I'm going through, grieving the loss of this, the loss of whatever it is, the loss of whatever it is you've lost, the loss of my home, the loss of my relationship, whatever it is you're going through, please acknowledge it's very important. All the grief that I'm going through, all the grief in my body, all of this grief, all this terrible grief that's holding me back, all of this grief. You see, you can stay whatever, you know what you're grieving. And a lot of people, a lot of my clients, they come to me after their relationship has broken up, and they can't let go of that because they go through a terrible grieving. A lot of the time, you're grieving all the good stuff. You're not grieving the bad stuff, and so the good. It's hard to break away from a relationship sometimes because you're still wishing you had all that good stuff. You're still grieving from the good stuff. I'll try to explain that to you one day in another video when we talk about that sort of thing. But what I want you to do now is I want you to take a deep breath, because what's happened in those last 3 rounds is that we've acknowledged that you are going through a lot of grief, and your body now says, yes, that's right, I'm holding it in here. I'm holding it in the middle of that onion because I'm an onion, I've got all this stuff here, circles and circles of it. And okay, it's there, and all of a sudden we're starting to shift it, we're starting to sit up and listen. And some of you would have already felt something. Some of you may also have tears rolling down your cheeks at the moment. You're really getting upset, or you're getting, look, this is because we're about to do some healing on you. We've got to get it up. We've got to get it out to get rid of it. So please follow me now as we free it. We've released it and we let it go. I now choose to release all the grief that I'm carrying now. I now choose to release all the grief from the past and from the present now. I am letting it go now. I am choosing to release all of the grief that I'm carrying now. I am letting it all go. I'm releasing all of that grief now, so I'm free of all fear that it is causing. I'm letting it go. I'm releasing myself of all grief. I'm releasing myself now, freeing myself of all grief, allowing The grief that I've been carrying to go. I'm allowing it to go. I'm allowing it to leave. I'm releasing it. I am releasing it now. It's okay to let it go. It's okay to let it go. It is for my betterment to release it now. It is for my betterment to release all grief now. Let it go. Letting it go now. Freeing myself all grief. Allow myself to be safe after releasing all grief. Knowing I am safe and free after freeing myself of all this grief. Letting it go. Letting it go. Releasing it now. Releasing it. Releasing it. Releasing it. Releasing it. Letting it go. Letting it go and letting it go. Take a deep breath. And there are so many different kinds of grief. So many different kinds of grief. When you lose a pet, a loved one, a friend, a relationship, that's a big one. But it's all grief. It is all grief. And the body takes it on and it holds it in there. And when you start telling the body with the karate chop, you start saying, I know I've got it. I know that, but I still love you. And you're talking to your body. I don't blame you, body, for hanging on to this. I still love you unconditionally. And the body says, oh, okay, thanks for that. Good. Okay. I'm not afraid now. I'm not afraid to listen to what you have to say. I'm not afraid to change things. That's what that karate chop's all about. It's an amazing self-healing tool, tapping. It really is. When I found this book, The Tapping Solution with Nick Ortner, I found it some months after I'd asked the spirit realm to help me to improve in some way or help my clients with the stress that they were going through. This was many years ago when I started picking up on how a lot of people coming to me and a lot of stress. The world was really making it difficult for them, the way the world was changing, technology and all sorts of things. And I found this book, and it was the answer. And I know that spirit. I just walked into a bookshop and it was sitting there, and I picked it up. You know what I mean, folks. You know what I mean. We've all experienced it. It was meant to be. And so I took it home, brought it home. It's funny, I put it in a drawer, put it in a drawer. And I didn't start reading it all when I first got it. I just put it in a drawer. Um, and I was cleaning out that drawer a few months later when I rediscovered it and I sat down and read it all. Then I read it again. I read it twice because I was blown away by it. I really was. And I started to practice it, and I've never ever regretted it. And I've helped so many people to discover the art of self-healing. This is self-healing. You need to take responsibility. Once you learn how to tap, if you decide to do all of the videos with me, the 5 that I put out, fine. But at the end of the 5, you're going to know exactly how to self-heal. This is a gift from the heavens. This is a gift from our Creator. If you buy this tapping solution by Nick Ortner and read the book, you'll understand what I mean by that. Nothing happens. Everything happens for a reason. Nothing is just out of the blue. This is a discovery that was meant to be made. It did come from the heavens, and once it got down here, it was given to the right people to continuously look into it and create what we have today. There's no doubt in my mind about that. And so, but it is something that it's your responsibility. This is a tool you've been given, and if you become a tapper, and you don't need any ballerina shoes or any sorts of shoes for this. If you start tapping regularly, whenever an emotion hits you, and remember this, you will get a reaction to this video today. You will get some form of a reaction Some it may be subtle, others it'll be quite profound, others it'll be quite traumatic when the grief starts to surface. And what you do then is you tap again. You tap again and shift the rest of the grief because it's not just a little bit. That much might come out, but there's that much there. So we just keep getting rid of it. We just need to keep getting rid of it. And so it goes, just goes. Stress, if you're tapping on stress, if you're tapping on trauma, if you're tapping on pain. My other videos will show you all that. You get rid of it all. And then you walk a beautiful life. You walk a beautiful path. You have no trauma, you have no fear. I'll tap the next one of the other videos on fear. It really does make a huge difference. Fear is the worst kind of emotion to walk with. It'll hold you back in life big time. And when we talk about, the trauma, people go through trauma, all sorts of things. When you start to eliminate all these emotions that you've been walking with, some of you for all your life, especially if you're abused as a child or anything like that, been through trauma as a child, when you get rid of all that, oh boy, a friend of mine, she went through this tapping and she lost all her weight, a lot of weight. She was carrying like something like 30 odd kilos too much. She was rather big. And she went down to a size 10 and she's never put it back on again. She said to me, I just got rid of all my. I said, oh, really? She's, oh. And yeah, she's never put back on again. She got rid of all the stuff she'd been walking around with for years. Um, and she was a new girl. She lost all that weight. She found a new love in her life. You know, her whole life changed for the better. Because when you're walking around with crap, when you walk around with stuff, it puts a negative around you. Pick up on that negative, and so it's hard to, it's really hard to make the right friends, and it's hard to find love if your love is buried underneath grief or pain or trauma or things like that, fear. And so we need to get rid of all this. We need to get rid of it and change our life. And you can do this anywhere at any time, and it only takes a few minutes. There's no excuses not to do it. There's no excuses that I will accept anyway. Let's put it that way. And so I hope we've helped you today with this session that we've gone through. If you would like to check my other tapping videos, please do. If this has helped you and you've been inspired or it's helped you at all, would you like to give us a little tick? We would love that. If you'd like to correspond, if you'd like to leave us a message, we always look at our messages. We try not to miss any. And of course, if you want to subscribe, well, you know what? You just make sure you click that little bell for all, because we don't just do this. We do lots and lots and lots of things. All the years of experience, all the years of living with spirit, being a channel and a messenger. I've mastered many, many modalities, and I've taught for many, many years, helping others to become more enlightened and lead a beautiful life. That's been my journey. And so if you would like to subscribe, fine. Look, if you don't want to, no big deal. I'm here. You can always find me. But I do love little tips. I do like that. So it's your choice. It's your choice. No pressure here. If you don't subscribe, it doesn't mean to say that you can't become a part of my family of believers here on YouTube, because you always will be. When you come on and share time with me, that's lovely. It's really lovely. And I love to see you. I really do love to see all of you. And so let me know who you are, where you're from, because I get a kick out of it. I don't know what it is. I just get a kick out of it. I get on there and I see so and so from Florida, so and so from UK, so and so from Ireland, so and so from Scotland. And, technology, I just absolutely, I really do get a kick out, genuinely get a kick out of it. I think it's fantastic to know that I'm sharing my space with all you wonderful people. And I know that we are helping you, my guides and I. That's the whole idea. The whole idea is to help you. So until next time, darlings, take care and look after yourself. Okay, look after yourself. Because if you don't, nobody else will.